HHDG. Peace, HHDG. We're on another episode of HHDG Media, the podcast. And as always, much respect to everyone that's been tuning in, listening to these interviews, checking out our website. If you see me at events and you spot me, you know, give me the respect for what we've been doing and continuing to push hip hop culture. Big respect and thank you. You can check out our previous interviews through our YouTube channel, as well as some of our written interviews on our website, as you can see on the bottom banner, hhdgmedia.com. And this is always made possible through our 5 owners, family that make up HHDG Media Inc., which is Skelly Top, the Mayor, T. Smith, Rock Vader KB, and myself, Wiki. For tonight, we have a guest who I like to say is definitely a true entrepreneur, a visionary. What he sees, he definitely puts to not just the pen and the paper, but the concepts for his albums as well. And he's shown that he's much more than just an MC. And we'll definitely dive into that. I created a comic book, which is great. Definitely shown that he is an excellent writer. So with being a writer, that expands to so much more avenues out there. And that's a great gift for anyone. And he definitely displays that. Through his music, he's shown how nice he can be lyrically, but also how structured his music is, with not just, I can rhyme, but how far can you push your pen? You know, he challenges himself with each project that he's dropped. And even with, I believe it's about a 7-year hiatus, still came with it when he came back and started dropping projects like the trilogy, Moskovich and My Aliens with Money Mowgli as well. And then, you know, there's other joints out there, but also just in January on the 17th, it dropped Event Center Racing, which is an ill project. And we'll talk about it when we'll also show the cover and give you a better idea of what he's speaking on. If you're familiar with the boat racing in South Florida or Miami, you get a good understanding of what he's talking about and that culture and that era as well. And, you know, that's one of the big things down in Miami. And just like I believe at the sport, if I remember, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Highlight, there's another big sport down there. So, I mean, if you know about Miami throughout the decades, you definitely will enjoy his new project. But we're also going to speak on his come up as well. So I'd like to introduce, repping Miami, who could have been from New York, Shottie.
Peace, man. I appreciate those words, man. For real.
Respect, man.
Yes,
Definitely. Yeah, that's better. All right, now with, you know, let's start off with your writing ability. Where did that start off at?
That's interesting, man. I couldn't really say exactly when, but I do know, you know, like early, like in elementary school, you know how like certain kids gravitate to certain things. So there'd be like the kid that's into music and the kid that's like always drawing in his book or whatever.
Yeah.
Bro, for whatever reason, I used to write short stories. Like that was my thing when I
Nice.
was
Okay.
when I was a kid. I'm talking about like 3rd, 4th grade type of
Wow.
thing, you know. So I always knew I had a like a proclivity for writing and for words in general, you know.
Mhm.
Which is probably why I was so attracted to rap when I first heard it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was the words. Rap is the most wordy, you know, genre of music. You
True.
know what I'm saying? Like there's
Yeah.
like, and that's not to discount the writing ability. Like you got to be a good writer, like like a person like Bob Dylan or Bob Marley. You know what I'm saying? Like they're great writers, but
Yeah.
they use a lot less words. Rap is like you're almost writing like poems and like in some cases like essays. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a lot more emphasis on the words, and I think that's why I gravitated to rap. But yeah, I would even say that I was into writing before I was into hip hop. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Indeed. Indeed.
yeah.
So speaking on storytelling, um, tell us about that first Fresh Prince song that caught
Mm.
your ear for the storytelling.
Yeah, apparently I like that you've done some research, man. That's cool. Yeah, it was. I heard parents just don't understand, and I'm pretty sure that was the first rap song I ever heard. Sometimes you romanticize shit in in your memories or whatever, but that's how I remember it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I just remember the fact that he was like telling a story, and it was like the song is "Parents Just Don't Understand." Mind you, I'm like a kid. I'm like 7 or 8 when I first heard it, so it was like he was speaking to me. You know what I mean? So there was something about that song, bro. And funny enough, I couldn't rap that song to you today. It's not like I go back and listen to that song all the time. You know what I'm saying? But I just remember like at the time it affected me in a way that music had never affected me before. And I think it's because it blended my love for music and my love for words, you know what I mean? And that's really what attracted me to hip hop to begin with. But yeah, it was like the storytelling was a big part of that, bro. Cause like
Hmm.
I said, I was writing short stories, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's like, a rap song like that is a short story. It's
Hmm.
not a movie. It's a
Yep.
story that you're telling in whatever 3.5 minutes or less. You know what I'm saying? So there was something about all of it, as a whole, like just the whole package of it. The fact that it's a story, the fact that it's musical, the fact that you had to get your point across, without boring the listener. It was like a lot of shit that attracted me to it. You know what I mean?
It's amazing, right?
Yeah, I mean, you'd never think too, man, because it's like you wouldn't hear my rap now, I don't think, and like the first name that would come to your mind is probably not Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of funny that that's the first rap song I ever heard and shit.
Yeah.
But hey, that's how life
Everybody's
is.
story is different, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Indeed. So before hip hop came into your life, what was the music that you were listening to?
Michael Jackson, and that was like the only American music that I knew at the time.
Hmm.
Because I was born in DR. And shit. I came
Right.
to the United States with like when we were like five. I was like 5 or 6.
Hmm.
So my idea of music was like merengue and salsa and shit. It
Okay.
wasn't it wasn't you know what I'm saying? It wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't hip hop or even rock and roll or nothing like that. But the one artist that definitely reached DR was Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember seeing like my older cousins had Michael Jackson posters on the wall.
Worldwide.
And
Yep.
I saw Thriller very early on in life, you know what I'm saying? Like very
Yeah.
young. I was like, and I was scared the first time I saw it and shit because the zombies and all that, you know. But not Michael Jackson's like the one American artist that comes to mind. And at some point, I heard of Madonna because it's just like those are like such big names, you know what I'm saying? So at some point, somebody said Madonna, but I never got into that, you know what I'm saying? but
Gotcha.
yeah, Michael Jackson, I would say was like that was my idea of American music before I discovered rap.
Right. Now, in the intro, I was mentioning Miami, but you could have been growing up in New York. So, for those that are not familiar with the story of how you ended up in Florida instead of New
Mhm.
York, let
Yeah.
them know, how that story became.
Yeah, so like I had the what I would say is like the typical Dominican immigrant story. Like my parents came to the United States looking for a
Mhm.
better life and all that, you know what I'm saying? And like most Dominicans, we ended up in New York first, in Washington Heights, you know what I mean? Which is like heavily Dominican
Right.
populated space. And you know, that was like that was the plan. As far as I know, that was the plan for life. We were, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna grow up in New York and try to make it out there, and you know, the whole the typical Dominican immigrant story. But my pops died when I was 7 years old. My pops died in New York, and it's something that like none of us saw it coming, you know what I mean? um
Sorry to
and he
hear.
was the provider. Thank you, I appreciate that. He was the provider, like financially, you know what I'm saying. While my mom
Right.
was going to school, he was driving a cab in New York. And when he passed away, you know, like we didn't have the bread, bro. We didn't we didn't have the financial stability. So my mom's parents, my grandparents, lived down here in Miami, so we actually came to live with them while my mom finished up school and shit. And we just ended up staying, bro. So
Wow.
I always like to say, like, I could be speaking to you with a New York accent right now if,
Right. Yep.
if something went differently, you know. But instead, I'm making albums about powerboats and shit. You
Yeah.
know.
Yep. Now I'm gonna interject part of my personal life. I went to the University of Miami in '96.
Okay.
So, and that first year, was an eye opener compared to growing up in New York City. But I'm also the type of person I like to, see how everything is and how people live, and also find out the basic essentials like finding a good barbershop and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
not having a car freshman year, taking the public transportation and that one train that only went north and south.
Yeah, the metro, the metro.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep. So, because I spoke to, I work in IT, and there was a vendor who's originally, their company is based in South Florida. And
yeah.
he was telling me, like, Miami Beach is completely different from the way you remember it.
Yeah, bro. It's kind of shocking.
Yeah. Right.
It's like it's a, you know, it's, I feel like it's a shame in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? Because like, you know, bro, I love Miami. I love the
Mhm.
city, and I feel like this city has a very strong identity compared to other cities in the US. Like Miami, you know,
It's
you could
diverse.
draw a 2D picture of Miami and everyone will know what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Miami's pretty unique in its own way.
Yep.
But you know, like the neighborhoods that are cool now and shit, instead of like the beach and Coconut Grove, I'm sure you're familiar. That's
Yep.
like that was that era, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The beach, Coconut Grove. That was like
That
literally
was it.
the two places, yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's like Wynwood, and Wynwood's dope. Like, don't get me wrong, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I hate to like say shit to like shit on Miami. That's not what I'm trying to do. But Wynwood, if we're keeping it a buck, it's really like a little fucking like a clone of Williamsburg, you know what I'm saying? Or like
Mm,
Bushwick, like one. It's
okay.
like a,
I got you.
it's not something that I feel like belongs to Miami. Whereas like the beach, bro, South Beach, there's only one
That's it.
South Beach in the
Yeah.
country, bro. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, you know, it's a little different. So I just felt like South Beach and like that era of like going out and shit in Miami and just like doing stuff, you know, it was more strongly tied to like the identity of the city. And now with like
Right.
Wynwood, it's like it feels like we're trying to be like New York or LA. You know what I'm saying?
It, artsy and bougie at the same time.
Exactly, bro. And like the industrial
Yep.
architecture
Hmm.
and the fucking graffiti everywhere, which I think is super dope because
It is dope.
a
Yeah.
lot of the people that were that were getting roped up by the cops for fucking tagging shit up, you know what I'm saying,
Hmm.
now are getting paid to do murals. So,
Yeah.
bro, that's
Yep.
beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I have no beef with that whatsoever. I think that's one of the greatest things that came out of this whole like Wynwood thing. Um, but yeah, I don't know, man. If you grew up here in that in the era that we're referring to, you know what I'm saying? The late '90s, early 2000s. It was the beach. It was the Grove. Wynwood wasn't even a thing, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wynwood
Not
was a
at all. Yep.
neighborhood. Yeah, that was a neighborhood, and
Yep.
that's all it was. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
hey, it is what it is, man.
It's amazing how things change, man. It's amazing.
Yep, yep.
And you primarily grew up in Kendall, correct?
Yeah, I did. When we moved to Miami, at first, I lived in North Miami Beach,
Okay.
and we were there for a couple years or whatever. But yeah, we moved down to Kendall, and we've been here ever since.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Kendall's a long way from North Miami Beach too.
Yeah.
Completely different. Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's like, you know, like my mom found work in this area or whatever, and so like we, it just made sense.
Yeah, that's dope. Dope.
Yeah.
So let's get back to the writing and how this opens up avenues. How did you get to, you know, doing documentaries, creating your
Mhm.
own comic book? Explain how your writing ability expanded to those.
Yeah, it's a good question. Like, I was always into movies. That was like if rap was 1A, movies were 1B, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
As far as like the things that I really enjoyed. Um and particularly writing, you know what I'm saying? And like discovering like the Quentin Tarantino's when like early in life, you know what I'm saying? Like especially Tarantino. I know it's kind of like the cool thing to shit on him, you know what I'm saying? But especially for like film snobs, I feel like it's kind of cool to shit on Tarantino. So, but for me, when I first saw Pulp Fiction, um it's the first time I realized that like what a director does and what a writer does too, because Tarantino
Gotcha.
writes all his own
Hmm.
stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like the first time that I could kind of like see through the smoke and mirrors, and I was like, oh, this is directed. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
understood it for some reason with that movie, and like the writing drew me into it. So to make a long story longer and shit, that eventually turned into me wanting to go to film school. So I
Nice.
moved to LA and did film classes in LA. And that's how I got into the documentary filmmaking. Like that shit fell into my lap. I was still living in LA. This was like after I had already finished like the school shit, and I
Hmm.
had written the script and I was shopping it around. That script actually got optioned by a production company in Hollywood and shit. And it was my first script too, which they tell you in film school, oh, your first script, you're supposed to write it and just put it in a drawer and never look at it again because it's gonna be trash. But it's like the good exercise. And I was like, fuck you guys. I got my shit optioned, you know what I'm saying? That was my first one. Uh but the point is the so like the documentary stuff, it was like a call I got from someone who knew someone who was like, yo, and this guy was like kind of famous in Cuba. Now he was living in Miami now.
Hmm.
I was still in LA, and he got a hold of me. He's like, "Yo, I heard like you did film school or whatever." It was a friend. It had something to do with my mom. It's like my mom knew someone that knew him, whatever.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Yo, man, I want to go to Cuba and do some documentaries over there. Would you be interested?" And so
Mhm.
that literally led to me leaving LA and coming back to Miami, and that's how I got into the whole like documentary filmmaking.
Wow.
And then, but it's like the it all started because of writing. You know what I'm saying? I went to
Yeah,
film school because I'm interested in writing movies, and that just kind of is something that came out of it. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of like it gave me a little bit of a passion for documentary filmmaking, but not strong enough to where I felt like I wanted to do that for a living. I did it for a good 6 years, like 5 6 years. That was like my main like income. You know what I'm saying?
that's dope. That's dope. Now, was this during the time of your hiatus that you were doing this, or was this before
No, that
from
was
the music?
before.
I mean,
That was before. Yeah, that was like
okay,
during my first run as a rapper, I guess. Yeah, I was doing it at the same time.
nice, nice,
Yeah.
dope. Now, the thing about Miami when they think of music and hip hop, they usually think of two main things. When it comes to hip hop, they're thinking of a lot of stuff related to Two Live Crew,
Hmm.
and when overall music, a lot of electronic dance type of music.
Mm.
But Miami is very diverse in its music compared to if you go to Central Florida, like Ozone, Orlando area, or if you go to Northern Florida.
Mm.
And what I noticed is Miami has its own particular sound and also has a bit of influence from the other regions as well. So artists are not always going to sound exactly the same coming from
Mm.
Miami.
Yeah. 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 Especially with hip hop, because aside from Two Live Crew, we didn't really have like a rap industry down here.
Hmm.
So it's like a lot of the hip hop that we were getting was coming from other places. You know what I'm saying? So naturally, people had different influences, and it led to a bunch of different styles. And it's funny you say what you say. Uh, it's actually very true. Like Miami doesn't have its own sound outside of like the Two Live Crew. That's definitely Miami. You know what I'm saying? Like Miami booty music bass.
Hmm.
That's definitely a Miami sound, and we can't discount that either because that's
Right.
definitely a genre within hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that I feel like Miami, if we didn't create it, we definitely put it on the map. You know what I'm saying? So I don't ever want to shit on that aspect of it. But aside from that, we never really had our own sound.
Mm.
So even people in this little hip hop scene that I kind of like operate in here in Miami, like everybody got different shit, bro.
Right.
It's not like you look at a place like Buffalo definitely has a sound. You know what I'm saying? And like when you hear an artist from Buffalo, as far as hip hop, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
you're expecting like that Griselda, no drums or like slow, spooky beats. Like you're kind of expecting that. Like Buffalo definitely has like created like a signature sound.
True.
We don't really have that down here. You know what I'm saying? Like even the people that I run with, like everybody, and even there could be three of us, and we all do music. We have that in common, but we all
Hmm.
do completely different shit. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's kind of cool, man, because it like I know me personally, I could fall into a lot of different pockets. Like it throughout the span of the time that I've been doing the rap shit.
Hmm.
I've done a lot of different type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like down south sounding shit, the double time, this, that, whatever.
Yep.
And I've kind of like settled into this shit that I'm doing now because it's like what I feel like I do best, which is kind of like East Coast influenced. I try to throw my own spin on it, but it's that type of shit. You know what I mean? But I've fallen into that. I've already kind of like tried everything else. You know what I'm saying? It's not like some people. I think the people that are introduced to this aspect of my rap journey or whatever, like after I came back from the hiatus, probably assume that I've always just done this type of rap, the shit that I'm doing now, the quote unquote underground, and I don't really like that word too much, but that type of stuff. But man, I've fallen in, like I settled into this because I
Hmm.
tried everything else. It's not that I don't want to try to step out of my comfort zone or whatever, bro. I didn't have a comfort zone until now, until I just like kind of nailed one down in the past few years. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. Got you.
Yeah.
And being that your first influence was Fresh Prince from up north,
Mm.
you know, a lot of people would think because you grew up in Miami that it wouldn't be an artist from outside that area, but here it is. That was your initial influence, and
Yeah.
and what you heard first,
And look,
and
my
then came.
favorite rappers are Redman and Razkaz. Like one
See.
from the East Coast, one from the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
yeah, that's just the type of stuff that I like to listen to.
Speaking of Razzcazz, you did a joint with him early on DeLorean. That
Yeah,
was Skyrider.
yeah, man. Raz, I got a good homie in LA that was cool with him. And bro, I've known this guy forever and he knows I'm a Razkaz fan. And he's never told him like, bro. One day he's like, "Oh yeah, I know Razkaz." I'm like, "Bro, what are we doing here, bro?" So yeah, like Razkaz always been one of my favorite rappers. Like Soul on Ice, in a lot of ways, is like my Illmatic.
Hmm.
It's what I can like the way people rank Illmatic. I put Soul on Ice there. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was dope, man. Like we hung out a couple times and shit. I hung out with him in L.A. and here in Miami. Like
That's dope.
super cool dude. Yeah, man. Shout out to Razkaz, bro.
Indeed, indeed. He had people fooled for a minute when he dropped that Miami Life joint, thinking that he was from out there.
Yeah. That's true. I didn't even make that connection until later on. I'm like, damn, this fool did a song called Miami Life. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Yeah, man. That's cool as hell.
Yep. Dope, dope. Now I'd like to get into your longtime friendship with Tev 95.
Mm, yeah.
How
Yeah, that's
long
my
did
homie, man.
yeah. How'd y'all first meet?
We met at Salazar Studio, my homeboy Salazar.
Hmm.
So he had a studio, and it was a kind of deal where like a lot of different people would come in and out of it. You know what I'm saying? And so me and Tev just happened to be there, sometimes working on different shit, but we happen to be there a lot at the same time. And it's funny because we talked earlier about like, me doing a bunch of different styles of rap and trying a bunch of different shit. Like when I met Tev, I was doing some different type of rap. It was like a
Mhm.
little more like southern sounding, I guess you could say. And he was making more like trappy sounding beats back then too, right? So like we knew each other, but we kind of didn't know that we were both like secretly boom bap heads. You know what I'm saying? So like, and I'd known him for like a couple years already without really, and we never really got into that. You know what I'm saying? And then somehow one day we both kind of realized it, and we both just came to like, bro, we got to make that type of shit, bro. I think it was Wu Tang. At one point, like we were in the studio, we were listening to Wu Tang, and I was like, oh, this dude's like ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like he was into all the shit, like Ghostface, all the Ghostface albums, all that shit. I
So
was like, oh, this dude's like a hip hop head. You know what I'm saying? So when we started getting into that, and we kind of decided like, yo, man, let's do the shit that we love to do. Because bro, you got to think about it. Back in those days, when I first met Tev, I want to say it was like 2009, 2010.
mhm.
Like, and so if you're a rapper in Miami, right? Back then, nobody was trying to hear no boom bap shit. Like, if you went to the studio and you know a bunch of rappers or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And you go to the studio, you're probably gonna be rapping to some fucking hi hats and 808s. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wanted to hear that shit, and I could imagine for him, it was probably the same shit as a beat maker. Like he was for, even though he likes the sample shit and all that, he was kind of forced to make a different type of like those more down south sounding beats just so he could get his shit off.
Yeah,
Just so motherfuckers will fuck with his beats. Cause
pay attention. Yep.
if he tries to give somebody some loops and shit, they're gonna look at him like, what the fuck is this shit? You know what I'm saying? So, and that's where he got the 95 in his name. Because people out
Ah,
here would tell him like, "Yo, your beats sound like they were from 1995 and shit," and so that's why he put the 95 on his
okay.
name and shit. Yeah,
That's
but
dope.
no, that's the homie, man. Like, I think we think similarly, and we have like a similar taste in music, and that's why I think we sync up so easily whenever we do shit, man. So yeah, it's like I try to do a Tev project at least once a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man. I just love I love rapping to his beats, man.
It's dope, dope. Now I recall the very first project I heard from you was To Kill a Caterpillar, but I know I heard you featured on something prior to that release. I can't remember exactly what it was,
Mm,
but it was probably something with Tev.
okay. Yeah, the Caterpillar joint. Shout out to Agony, man. That's one of the first, like when I first started getting into the studio as a rapper. It was my group, ID4, and it
Hmm.
was North and Agony, RIP North. You know what I'm saying? And it was a producer homeboy of all of ours that we had in common, Profile, who also passed away, RIP Pro. Um, he put us together. You know what I'm saying? So like Agony, when I met North and Agony, bro, those were like at the time I was still like a cipher rat. I had been to the
Okay.
studio maybe once or twice in my life, you know what I'm saying? I was more like a cipher rapper, you know what I'm saying? Battling motherfuckers and all that type of shit. And when I met them, I was like, damn, these dudes got fucking songs. Like these dudes were like more like structured. These dudes were rappers. To me, I was like, damn, this. I remember Agony one time, like the first day I met him, he put on a beat and it was like an original beat, and he just rapped a whole song to me
Mhm.
with like the hook, like you know what I'm saying. He would finish his verse and go right into the hook and then go into the second verse, and I was like, at the time I could spit you 100 bar verse probably, but I couldn't spit you a song. I didn't have that in my repertoire, you know what I'm saying. So
Right, right.
that shit was amazing, bro. And I know I'm going off on a rant,
Nah, it's all good.
but it's like, you know what it is, like people don't bring up that project. So the fact that you bring up that project is kind of cool, man, because yeah, me and Agony, it was cool that we linked up and did a project. And what's cool about that, it's a short like 4 song EP, but he
Hmm.
produced 2 songs on it and I produced the other two, you know what I'm saying. So it was
Okay.
a cool mix up and shit.
All right. Yeah, I didn't know you produced the other two tracks on there. I thought it was all Agony.
Nah, we did. I produced too, man. But the thing is, bro, like I just decided. I'm gonna put everything else to the side and just focus on rap, bro. Because
Mm.
you know what I mean. Like when you get caught up in that producer bag, and now you're like digging for samples, and that's, you know what I'm saying. Like that's time that I could be using to make songs and make albums and shit. So as much as I love to do it, but
Hmm.
I don't love to do it more than the rap. So I'm gonna just stick to that for now.
So now, early on, discovering other dope MCs from your area, at the time of your come up, when you seen how nice they were, what helped you to be inspired to sharpen your pen? Like, who were some of those people?
Yeah, it's different when like, okay, I could listen to Nas and Jay-Z or whatever back then, you know what I mean? And Cannabis, and acknowledge like, bro, these guys are at a level that I want to get to. But I
Hmm.
didn't have like those guys in arm's reach. When you start meeting people that you're seeing in person that are rapping at a certain level, that shit kind of hits different. You get what I'm saying? So like I was definitely inspired by guys like Mike Ripper, B Dope, J Pure, R.I.P. J Pure. There was a few Dynas, like
Oh,
there was
Dinah.
a
Yeah.
few, Dynas, yeah.
Yep.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, man. Dynas, he's an OG out here. Dynas was one of the first like OGs that were like a generation. I don't want to say a generation before me. I don't make them fucking seem old and shit. You know what I'm saying? But they were doing it before I was. You know what I'm saying? And he
Hmm.
was one of the first ones that like actually that gave me like a lot of encouragement. Like, yo, you nice, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like he was one of the first ones, man. So always shout out to Dynas. But all those guys, the Crazy Hood guys too, Garcia
Oh, yeah. Crazy
and the
Hood,
all, yeah,
DJ, and yep.
bro, EFN,
Yep.
and then yeah, you lived in Miami, so I think you probably have a better context of EFN and Crazy Hood than the
Yeah.
rest of the
Yep.
country does, or the world
DJ
does. You know what I
Craze.
mean?
I went to DJ battles, DMC, ITF battles out there too.
Crazy a legend, bro.
What
Crazy
else was
legend.
out there? The
Crazy
pro
also from
pro
Kendall.
am.
Yeah, the pro
Yeah.
am. Yeah, yeah. The
Yep.
beat,
I,
the
I was
pro am
going
was
to
out
the
here.
events out there.
That's what's up. Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yeah, all those guys inspired me though back in the day because it was like at first when I was just rapping in my room and shit and trying and figuring out that I could do this shit. I swear to God, I thought I was the only rapper in Miami, bro. I didn't think that was a thing that people did. You know what I'm saying? I thought maybe like in New York, obviously, you know what I mean, or in other places, but I didn't think people in Miami were actually like into rap like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And like enough to like do it. So discovering that those guys were out there and they were doing it at a certain level. Another one that I didn't mention, Mother Superior. Mother
Oh
Superior
yes, yes,
was big, man. You know what I'm saying? Like she had songs with Redman.
yep.
So I was like, what? I remember being into Mother Superior, not even realizing she was from Miami at first.
Hmm.
You know? So yeah, that
Finally.
definitely helps, man. When you have somebody like in close proximity like that, like I said, it hits harder than like a Nas or a Biggie because those guys seem like just like superheroes to me. Because you know what I'm saying? They're over there, I'm over here. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like I can't see these people in person and shit. So that seemed like unattainable. But when I saw like people in Miami like and doing their thing too, I was like, okay, that gave me like a I don't know, bro. Gave me like a path, like a vision for the path. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. That's dope. Now I see we got someone checking in. This looks like, and I'm pretty sure it is. That's Tally Rodriguez, right? Tally
Oh,
Rod.
Tally Rod, bro, that's a goat
Yeah,
right there,
yeah.
man.
That's
Yeah,
what's up.
yes,
Peace. I
sir.
appreciate you checking in.
Peace, peace.
This is another multi-talented, artist right here. Very dope. I think what was that posse cut y'all did?
Yo, I
Um
apologize. I apologize for that.
that's all right. I was trying to remember that posse cut y'all did. What was it? Lords of War? He had P Row, G
Oh, with
Fan
G
Black.
Fan Black. Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
had a
yeah.
lot of people on there.
I
Bless
think
Picasso.
Kingdom. I think Kingdom was on there, right?
I think so.
Kingdom
Yeah,
Come was
yeah,
on
yeah.
there. Yeah, Bless Picasso. Yeah,
Yep.
shout to all those guys, man.
Yep. Dope joint.
I got a dope joint with Tally too called Sunrise. That's one of my favorite joints, bro. I wrote that joint. It was like I think it was like on my birthday when my son was about to be born, or right after my son was born. I don't remember, but yeah, that's one of my favorite joints, bro.
Dope, dope. And for those tuning in, Tally Rod just dropped a joint with another multi-talented artist coming out of Australia, Flu.
That's another one of my favorites, man. Flu's great, bro. Flu's
Yep,
a great rapper and producer.
yep,
Yeah.
dope, man. I love hearing you talk about Miami from back in the day because you're bringing up the memories, from when I was
Yeah.
down there and everything.
But it's dope to
That's dope.
talk to someone who actually understands what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. You got some context and shit.
That's dope, man. Wow. So, what was I gonna say? We were speaking on previous artists, and you got also new artists out there as well doing anything that you also work with, like Money Mowgli, uh,
Mm.
Andre the Saint, definitely
Yep.
another talented artist.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um, I recently found out that y'all got a group, Full Metal Cooper,
Yeah, man. Full Metal
with
Kubrick.
Machacha.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. That's something we've had
What?
like we've had that shit in the back pocket for a minute, man, because we're both so busy. You know what I'm saying? So like we have a few joints done. It's me, the Saint, and Machacha,
That's
which is
crazy.
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, Machacha. Shout out to Machacha, bro. He's one of the best too.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Saint, a real cool dude, man. Like I met him through like this whole like internet thing, but then we've gotten to actually kick it in person
Hmm.
because he's right a few hours away and shit. He's in Fort Myers or Orlando, wherever he's at. You know what I'm saying? But we've actually got to kick it a few times. We've recorded in person together and shit like that. We've done shows and shit. So yeah, that's one of the like those instances where you meet somebody through the whole like underground rap thing. You know what I'm saying? And then actually get to kick it in person. But yeah, bro, we got a group.
That's
And,
crazy,
and
man.
we've been slow cooking it. We're slow cooking that one. You know what
That
I'm
is
saying? But
crazy.
yeah, yeah. When
Wow.
that shit does drop, bro, it's gonna be crazy.
Mm-mm-mm. And it's funny because um Alligator Alley, the joint you did with Machacha came out 2024. But I don't think enough people paid attention that you had a track on Godspeed of that same name.
Mm, yeah. Oh, you went back though. You went back. Yeah, 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 yeah. I did, bro. I did. Well, Alligator Alley is a place in South Florida.
I thought, yep, mm-hmm,
Yeah, yeah.
yep,
So yeah, I guess I don't even know that I did that on purpose. You know what I'm saying? But it's just the beats that Machacha was sending me for that album just kind of gave me that vibe. I don't know. It gave me a vibe like if I'm driving down Alligator Alley or something.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, I went with it. But that's a good catch though. I definitely did that song. That was like back in 2012, 2013 for sure, man. There's a video for it too. There's a video for it too if you
Yep,
search it on YouTube. Yeah.
yep. That's dope. Mm,
That's a
wow.
good find, bro.
I got to give a big shout out to Machacha because not only is he a dope producer, but he's out here listening to the music like all of like I do,
Mm.
and you can tell because a lot of the artists that he's reached out to work with, he's known their music before he even went and spoke to you. So I'm sure before he spoke to you, he was already knew your music.
Yeah, and you know what, man? There's been like a few, especially producers and a few MCs too, that and it's the type of shit I never forget, you know what I'm saying? But that definitely reached down and reached out to me before like people fucking knew who I was, you know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? And not that a million people know who I am anyway, but before there was any kind of motion, they recognized like just based on the talent, you know what I'm saying? And
mhm,
Machacho was definitely one of those guys, bro. I didn't really have too much shit popping. I had my shit with Tev. I always considered like what I was doing, I was always cool locally. You know what I'm saying? But Machacha opened some doors, man, to where like people buying my records in Europe and shit like that, bro. Like
yeah,
Machacha and Copenhagen Craze definitely opened that door for me.
yeah,
Um,
international, yeah,
yeah, and when Machacha reached out, like I said, bro, like I didn't have a lot emotion on that side of things. Like maybe locally, I was definitely doing my thing. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
yeah, on that side of thing, there wasn't on that side there wasn't a lot of motion. So shout out to like the Machachas and Pharma. Pharma's another one, bro. Like
Yep.
Pharma
Karma, yeah.
Beats. Yeah, and he's a fucking legend. Like if you know about like
Yep.
UK hip hop, that dude is legit a
Yep.
legend. You know what I'm saying? And still fucking shit up to this day, bro. He just dropped an album not too long ago.
Yeah.
Shout out to Farmer. He's another one, bro. Like I didn't really have status, and he fucked with me based on the music. You know what I'm saying? Based on the rhymes, bro. So yeah, I always appreciate shit like that. Maze Overlay is another dude. He's an MC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's
Yeah.
another dude that reached out
So,
early. You know, and that's why you see I got so many songs with Maze, bro. Shout out
amazing.
to Maze.
And
Yeah,
you doing
I never forget that type of shit, bro. Like I always remember the people that were willing to work with
work,
me
show that respect. Yep.
right before there was
Hmm.
any kind of like incentive, you know what I'm saying, for them to do so, man. So yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah. So, and being that we're speaking of Maze Overlay and Machacha, the physical aspect that they do, Maze with Hope, the Press Collective, TPX, and
Mm,
then Machacha working with Copenhagen Crates. You
yeah.
know, your physical game is definitely, on point. And I don't think enough people peeped the creativity of the cassette for pulp nonfiction.
Thank you, dog. Thank you, bro. Yeah, man. I don't think so either. I don't think so either, man. Yeah, the red apple cigarettes, you know what I'm saying? For sure. Yeah, we did the cigarette pack. And that one I'm particularly proud of because that was Father's Day Records. That wasn't even like a TP. You look at the quality, you would think it's a TPX release. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to TPX because they got crazy quality. But nah, that was us. You know what I
That's
mean? We did that one in house and shit, bro. Like
dope.
so, I designed the cigarette pack. I had Stu Tender design like the cover of the actual cassette.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, bro, I'm proud of that one, and I appreciate you acknowledging that, bro, because I thought that shit was super ill. You know?
Yeah, I was definitely very creative.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you.
And for those tuning in, I put up the link for y'all to definitely go out and support that cassette, which you also have a T-shirt with that as well.
Yeah, we're sold out of the t-shirts, but those are some of my favorite shirts that we made, man. The quality's crazy on those, and maybe we'll do another little run of those. But we definitely got some cassettes. If you want to hit me up, you know what I'm saying? Hit me on the DM, and I got you, man. I got some cassettes for sure. The Pulp
Yeah,
Nonfiction with the cigarette pack. Shit, I
yeah.
think I got one here, bro. Whatever. I won't even. I ain't even gonna look for one.
I definitely got to add to my collection because I do have the vinyl version.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah. Hit me. We'll speak on the DM. I got you
Definitely dope, dope.
for sure.
Now I got to go back to the name of the group, Full Metal Kubrick, because
Mm,
I know you're a Stanley Kubrick fan, and one of our fellow HHDG Media Inc. members, the mayor, and me are also big fans of A Clockwork Orange.
that's my favorite movie of all time, bro. That's literally my number one favorite movie of all time. Yeah,
That that I don't want to go too much into it, but that movie was ahead of its time with what the content and the technology and the mental health and the experimentation that was going on in that movie.
yeah, 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 yeah. Big time. And it's like one of those movies that when at first you're like, bro, this is just a bunch of crazy shit happening, and then somewhere around the time where he's about to get out of the prison or whatever, and you
Hmm.
realize
Yeah.
what the point of the movie is, you're like, oh shit, you know what I
Yep.
mean? It's like it's one of those movies with a very clear like moral message.
Hmm.
And once it kicks, and you're like, oh shit, that's what
Yep.
this is. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Yeah, I love that movie, man. Great
Yep.
movie.
Yep. What's another Kubrick film that's one of your favorites?
Let me, bro. Just to go outside the box, I like
Hmm.
Eyes Wide Shut a lot, bro. That's like one of
Okay.
my most rewatchable movies, and just to go outside the box, because The Shining, Full Metal
Hmm.
Jacket. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everybody's gonna say that, but I really like Eyes Wide Shut, bro. I think that's a really underrated movie. And if you know the lore, you know that that movie was he intended it to be a lot deeper than what it actually
What
does.
that
You know what I
was,
mean?
yep.
But still, it's like that's one of those movies that has a certain mood. That movie's a lot about mood. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And I think about those scenes where I think he's in the cab and he's thinking about his wife, Nicole Kidman, with the sailor dude or whatever. You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah. Hmm.
And bro, he's the way that they showed that on the screen, how he's allowing his mind to control him at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like he so and his those thoughts that he's having is literally driving all his bad decisions that he makes that night. You know? Nah, it's great, bro. Kubrick is. I could talk about Kubrick all day.
Yeah.
And another thing I'll say is that if we're giving out like, there's no such thing as like an objective best movie of all time. There's no such thing, right? But if I had to say like the most objective argument for like a greatest movie of all time has to be 2001: A Space Odyssey. In my
Mm.
opinion, it's not my favorite of Kubrick's movies, but I've never watched anything like it before or since. You know what I'm saying? Like that movie does something to you like mentally. Again, it's one of those where like you don't realize what you're watching
Yep.
until it clicks and then you're like, "Yo." And then it's hard to what's crazy about 2001 is like I could explain the moral or kind of like the point of A Clockwork Orange. I can't really explain 2001.
You gotta
I
watch it.
know what it is while I'm watching it, but it's like once the movie's over, I can't really put it into words and explain it to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those things like you really do have to watch that movie to
Hmm.
appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Man.
Kubrick, Scorsese, and Tarantino
Okay.
are like my holy trinity of filmmakers for my film nerd self. You know what I'm saying? And there's other great ones. You know what I'm saying? Like Spielberg definitely has a argument. Uh, he definitely has a goat argument. Steven Spielberg definitely does, and I love Sergio Leone. Like I could go down the rabbit hole when it comes to directors and shit, man.
Yep. That's dope. Now, I asked this question, I don't know, with another artist I interviewed maybe about 2 years ago. Um, have you seen the documentary Room 237?
Yes, I have.
What did you
Yes, I
think?
have. Some of that shit blew my mind, bro.
Yeah.
When they're talking about like all the little like hints that he left in The Shining and
The
stuff, like the
Shining. Yep.
kids the kid's NASA sweater. I didn't even realize
Yes.
that when
Yep.
I watched it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that shit's crazy. That shit's crazy. And everything about it, like the hotel being built on an Indian
Yeah.
reservation,
Reservation.
and
Yeah.
yeah, it's wild,
Mhm.
bro. It's wild. I gotta rewatch it, but I remember when it was on. I think it was on Netflix at one point. I think I was living in New York when I watched it, and bro, I was like, "Yo, this shit is crazy." Yeah, that's a great documentary.
Yep.
Yeah,
Amazing.
and I buy it, bro. That's the cool thing about Kubrick, man, is you kind of buy it because his movies are you buy the fact that it would be so layered
Yeah.
because his movies already kind of speak to that. You know what I'm
Always.
saying?
Always. Yeah.
So you believe it with Kubrick. If it was about a different director, I might not believe it. But with Kubrick, it's like, I think he might have done that. You know what I'm saying? I think that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
And the whole moon landing shit, like, yo,
Yeah.
this shit is crazy. That shit crazy.
Crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
Now, being that you speak of, some really great, talented directors, um, yourself as an MC, as a director, you have a vision, and you go in, whether you're writing it, whether you have a particular sound that you want to go with a project, you have your concepts already. So in essence, you are a director. So
Mm.
how do you see yourself when it comes to making the albums?
Yeah, I think you're probably spot on with that, bro. Because I look at my albums kind of like the way that a director looks at movies, and I never want to make the same album twice. I try not to make the same album twice. You know what I'm saying? So like I kind of approach it in that sense. And that's not to say that like all my albums are about movies and they're not, you know what I'm saying? But I think at the essence of it, it's the way that I'm approaching it. Like,
Mhm.
you know, I need this to be different from the last one. That last one might have felt like a crime drama. This one may feel like a little more of like a sci-fi, you know what I'm saying? Like this one may feel, you know, I can't help it because I like movies so much, bro. And one aspect about movies that I like is like looking at a director's filmography. You know what I'm saying? And looking at that as like a complete body of work. And I think in the back of my mind, I have that kind of thing in mind when I'm creating albums too. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I did this, I did MI Aliens. What genre are we gonna tackle next? And again, it's like I don't want to make it seem like my albums aren't super like on the nose as far as like my writing goes. You know what I'm saying? It's not like on
Mhm.
MI Aliens, I was talking about aliens the whole time. I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? But it
Yep.
does carry that theme loosely, I think, all the way through. Same with the speedboat with ECR, Event Center Racing. Although with that one, I feel like I did reference the speedboat shit more than I would do with like my other concept albums. You know what I'm saying? That one I definitely went in on the topic a little more than I usually do. But I try not to be like heavy handed, bro, or like too on the nose. You know what I mean? I try not to be too on the nose and shit. I don't think you'll ever hear me like do a whole album like as a character, even though I think that's
Okay.
super dope. I love the Prince Paul album, you know, the
Oh
one that's
yeah.
like a whole story. I love the Sticky Fingers
That's
one
one
too.
thing you see. Oh yeah, that's a great
That
one.
that shit's dope as hell, but I don't think that's a skill that's necessarily in my repertoire, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um I like to keep things kind of like loosely referenced things, but everything always comes back to me and my real life. So if I'm doing a, like for instance, I'm putting movie references and all that shit, but that don't mean the song's about movies. You know what I'm saying? If you
Yep.
dig deep to the core of what I'm saying, I'm always talking about my life, bro. You know what I'm saying? And my outlook on shit.
Agreed. Agreed. So being that we are speaking on your life, as two family men,
Mm.
speak on the hiatus from the music, and yet came back, and like I said earlier, like you never left.
Thank you, man. Yeah, the hiatus. I think I was disillusioned with rap, and I think sometimes it's kind of hard for me to put into words, man. But it's because I don't. It's not that I was bitter, but no, it is. I was bitter. You know what I'm saying? Like I was bitter with the rap shit, and I think it had to do with the fact that you know, my identity was too like strongly tied with rap in my
Mhm.
own head. You know what I'm saying? Like if, in my mind, it was like, bro, you know, if I'm not making it as a rapper, then I've failed. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until I started a family, right? I met my wife. Um, we started a family, and like you know, I became like a different type of man. Now my identity wasn't so like tethered to just a rap shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And in a funny way, the rap kind of fell into place as in like, okay, this is something I do because I genuinely love this shit. But you know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
genuinely love this shit and that's my reason for doing it. I'm not doing it because I want to fucking be rich and famous and all the dumbass reasons that I used to have before. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing this shit because I love it. And that has a lot to do with why I don't do different styles of rap that much. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, I'm into Wu Tang and Mob Deep and Redman and shit. That's the shit that I'm into. That's the shit that I'm gonna make. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna make the music that I would listen to in the car. I'm not trying to prove a point that I could rap on some fucking 808s and double time and I'm past like trying to prove the point, bro. I'm gonna just do the shit that I like. But again, all that comes from becoming a family man and the music kind of falling into the place where it's Where for me, it should have been the whole time. Like I
Mm.
should have just been doing it for the love. You know what I mean? But before, it's like I wanted to make it so bad that I think it compromised my artistry a little bit because I was rapping on some stuff that I didn't really like. You know what I'm saying? And making some creative decisions and shit that I probably wouldn't have made if I didn't feel like something was on the line and you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we got to make this happen or whatever.
Yeah.
Now I'm strictly doing it just out of the purity of it, bro. The love for it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And bro, ironically, like more people know who I am now than back then. Ironically, you know what I'm saying? Like back then when I was chasing it and shit, it's like I wasn't getting the results. Now it's like, I have an audience, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man. It's funny the way life works out sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But those are lessons that we learn along the way and shit.
Indeed, indeed. And the right people coming into your life at the right time, to give you that perspective and understand what you need to adjust or change.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Like my family is my priority in life. That's my priority. You know what I mean? So I don't fuck around when it comes to my family. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It makes the music thing like seem weightless in a good way. I don't have like this burden. My burden with the music as it relates to my family is I need to show them, right, that if I start something, I'm gonna follow that shit through all the way. Like that's the way I relate my music to the family because it's like I have something to prove to them, but it's not that I could be the illest MC or it's not that I could, but what I got to prove to them is like, yo, I'm taking on this undertaking and I'm gonna see it through.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Start to finish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
straight up, and that's a
Yeah.
valuable lesson in life. Period. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because like before, I don't, I didn't have that discipline. So that shit, having a family, like gives you that kick in the ass that you need. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have that discipline before, bro. Before, man, it was ego driven. The whole shit was ego driven. You know what I'm saying? And I know that I'm nice and I don't gotta prove nothing to nobody and motherfuckers should be chasing me. That was like the mentality that I had before, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh,
Yeah.
they should be coming to me. And I was like mad, like, why aren't these people showing up at my doorstep with the $1 million deal? You know what I'm saying? And like thinking back now, it's like, man, you're stupid as hell. That shit sounds stupid to me now, you know what I mean? But again, bro, I was so deep in the I was so in the weeds and shit that I couldn't really see like the I couldn't see the garden, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I feel like now I'm seeing the garden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope, dope. And on the track, winning off of ECR, you credit your wife with um, teaching you how to think without the anchor.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, shit, man, that's my wife is a blessing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like there's no two ways about it. My wife is a blessing. She's a natural entrepreneur, comes already came with that mindset.
Yep. You proven it.
And yeah, you know what I'm saying? And look, man, like we've started businesses, we've done all kind of things, man. So yeah, it was the, best thing, as cliche as it sounds, best thing that ever happened to me was meeting my wife. Straight up.
So
Yeah.
big respect to your wife, man. Indeed.
Thank you, brother.
Now, based off of everything that we've been talking about with no two albums sounding the same, you always having that vision. How did ECR come into play?
That was 100% War Season, man. I met
Okay.
War Season through Maze Overlay
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he's done a couple albums with him,
Hmm.
and those albums are like concept albums too. So when War Season hit me up, this was a few years ago, bro. I want to say it was like 2024. He hit me up a while ago, bro. And I just had some shit on my plate, so I couldn't get to it until last year. But yeah, he hit me up. He gave me like the premise of like, yo, this is how I work, bro. I don't send motherfuckers beat packs. I do concept albums, right? So that's what I want to do with you. I want to come up with a concept and I want to do a whole album and then I produce it from start to finish and I send you the whole album, you know what I'm saying? Like in sequence, and then you go off and you do your thing to it. So I mean, the process sounded intriguing to me.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's why I even entertained it in the first place. Besides the fact that I liked his beats already, you know what I'm saying, from the Maze albums and shit. But I was like, man, this sounds crazy. But I just wasn't. I was like, bro, I got these albums I need to make right now. I wasn't in the mindset to jump into something like that because it was definitely a departure from how I usually work. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, when we finally nailed the idea, I think that's what put the battery in my back. It was, I was having conversations with War, and we became friendly and shit, and we would just talk on the phone and shit. And we had kicked around a few ideas that I wasn't really connecting to. And then one day he brought up like the power boat thing, and
Hmm.
that's when I locked in. I was like, oh yeah, that's it right there. You know what I
All
mean? Because
right.
it captures like this essence of Miami that is not necessarily what the rest of the country thinks of
Yeah.
when they hear Miami. You know what I'm saying? Which is what attracted me to the Alligator Alley name too. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't know about that side of Miami, the swampland and all that shit. So yeah, he brought up like powerboat racing. I'm like, oh man. Cause bro, if you start looking into that shit, like bro, that sport was on ESPN.
Yep. I remember.
Fucking Trump was at the races. Like it was a big deal. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But people don't necessarily, it's not, I mean, you think power boats, but when you think power boats, you're probably thinking of Miami Vice. You don't think of the fact that it was a whole fucking sport, bro. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Where Miami was like the mecca of that shit,
All
you
of it.
know? Yeah, you're either thinking about Miami Vice or you're thinking of like the Cocaine Cowboys, which is cool. Like that's all a part of the power boat racing story, but it's not the whole story. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So yeah,
And
I
it
thought
was,
that was a brilliant idea from War Season to like focus on that. And as a writer, it's like, bro, like uh ocean and water and boats and like the metaphors are they're right there. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit kind of writes itself. So I'm not a powerboat racer, obviously. But I found that was like a dope vehicle, pun intended, to talk about my life like I always like to do. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many metaphors that you could do with the powerboat racing and a big ass ocean, and there's just a lot of waves. Shit comes in waves. Like it's just so many things that come to mind and shit. So as a writer, that concept excited me too because I'm like, oh, there's a lot that I could do with that and not have to depart from like what I like to do, which is talk about my life and talk about real shit. You know what I mean?
and it's dope the way War Season meshed your verses with some of the excerpts that he put in there, like
Right,
Donald Trump talking and
right.
some of the introductions and getting in details of the boat racing. I like how he
Mhm.
blended that in.
Yeah, he got Don Johnson on there, Chuck
Yep.
Norris, R.I.P. Chuck Norris. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, yeah,
Yep.
man. Nah, War's a genius, bro. I don't use that word lightly. You know what I'm saying? That dude's really a genius, man. Like, it takes a special kind of talent to that dude sees the forest before he sees the trees,
Mm,
right? And it's like he's painting the fucking forest, bro, from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And then
yeah.
when you get into the trees and you can see the details and shit like that, but he approaches it from the macro and then goes into the micro. Like it's crazy. You don't see that too often, bro. So that was fun. That was fun to work on, man.
That's dope. And then we got to talk about the artwork. I I might be pronouncing it wrong. Stutender.
Yes, Too Tender. She
Okay.
did the Alligator Alley cover too, and a couple other things for me. She did Death Occurred Last Night. A couple things I've done. You know what I mean? And that was like, bro, I found her on Instagram a couple years ago, and I was like, yo, this person is super ill. But with the event center racing artwork in particular, like we were trying to make one of those. You remember those Dale Earnhardt shirts with a big graphic on the front, and it's like a you know what I mean, like a painting. It would be like
Oh
him
yeah,
and the
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. It wasn't just Dale Earnhardt. There was like Wayne Gretzky, like, but
yeah.
that was like a style of shirt, like in the
Yep.
'80s with like these athletes and shit. That was kind of like the concept that we were going for. I'm not sure if we pulled that off completely, but we definitely got close. You know what I'm saying? But that's the concept that we were going for with the artwork. So I sent her like pictures of a bunch of those T-shirts and shit. And I was like, yo, this is what you know what I'm saying, what we have in mind and shit. And bro, she
Yeah,
killed that shit. She killed it.
that's dope. Let me put that up for the people to see real quick.
Yeah.
There you go.
Got the stew tender for sure, man.
Yeah.
Hmm. That's actually the first album that I have with my face on the cover too.
Ah, that's right. Is it? What about the
Yeah,
one
man.
with your father? Nothing changed except
Okay,
everything.
yeah. That's a baby picture. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Yeah, for sure. For sure. You got me there.
Let's since I know you got visuals for off of here, let's play that joint, Aqua Blue Camo.
Let's run it.
Good evening. We're live in Key West, where today's Class 1 World Powerboat Championship took a frightening turn. On the sixth lap, champion driver Captain Shottie lost control of his boat at more than 100 miles an hour.
Every time I watch your video,
We all on this race to the top, right?
Shout to
Everybody
Belief.
thinking it's about toys. Really, it's about making choices. No matter how fast you're going, you see that sharp curve coming around the corner. You gotta think fast. You gotta stay focused. Let's get it. I swear to God, I'm trying to do good. Just cause I make certain choices don't mean that you should. Sometimes you're limited to what's your options. It brings your integrity down a couple notches. You missed the point, but I'm trying to run an offense. Anything I like, I'm running off with. Pray that I don't run for office. Trying to cross over like AI into the public conscious. But AI's becoming conscious. What have we accomplished? Bow to your overlord. It ain't about who you voted for. How long could you hold a fort against Voldemort? Apache 47 on an open shore. If Lady Luck pick a side, you better hope it's yours. It's hard to waver when you know the course. I'm trying to ride waves, I'm trying to grow the sport. Cause when I open up these doors, that's a chivalry act. You're welcome. From the soil about to grow out branches. My everyday life used to seem so outlandish. I ain't had 50 cents and now I pour out Branson. When me and wifey go out dancing. Don't lose your morals inside the moment. Just cause I do something don't mean that I condone you, bro. Sometimes you're limited to what your options go. Brings your integrity down a couple notches. Don't it? Don't it? I'm trying to see how you behave when nobody watching. Will you want it? Yeah. Thin line between the rider and the road, and let's go.
Black hoodie camouflage with my blue stain. Protect your neck like it's Wu-Tang.
Ready for war. With the light blue camouflage suit.
Protect your neck.
Ready for war. The light blue camouflage suit. Blue camouflage suit. Ready for war. Ready for war. Ready for war. Ready for war.
Dope.
Yo, shout to Belief, man. He
And Swab.
really, yeah. Belief
Go
really
ahead.
killed those visuals, man.
Hmm.
Man, I haven't watched that video since I dropped it, bro. Like, just looking at it now, I was like, man, this dude killed that shit.
And he gave the ill vintage look too.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Shit was dope. And shout to Swab too, man. That was War Season had that visualized from the beginning too. He's like, yo, this first track, I want to put Swab on there and shit. Like, bro, War Season saw the whole, he
The
saw the
whole
whole shit.
thing.
Yeah.
Yep, that's dope. Definitely a visionary. That's dope.
Yeah, man.
Cool, cool. Now about the features on here, how did that all come to be? After you got all the production back from War Season.
Yeah, that was one of the dope things, bro. Is once War Season like gave me the album, you know what I'm saying, like all the instrumentals and shit. He let me do my own thing, man. Because like some of the ideas that I had, I was like, yo, man, I want to make Mowgli kind of like the co-star, not the co-star because he's not on, but he's on multiple songs. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I wanted to make like
Almost
an
like the
additional.
co-pilot for the racing.
Yeah, there you go. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like a navigator, you know?
Yep.
So because I was looking at it kind of like a movie, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, this one needs a co-star, bro. I need like a ghost face to my Raekwon type shit, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So War Season wasn't bought in to that idea initially until I actually but you know, he gave me the space to do literally whatever I wanted with the songs. He had some suggestions and stuff like that. Um but nah, he gave me the album and just let me do my thing. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a true collaboration. It was like it really was a 50-50 collaboration, which is dope. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I landed on the features like organically, bro.
Nice.
You know, it was important to me that this one in particular, because it's so much like it's so close to home. You know, I was like, man, I want to put like the homies on this one, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got other albums where I do features with some, you know, like bigger artists and shit and some like super MCs, you know what I'm saying? Like Nino Bless and Fashion and stuff like that. But like
Yeah.
for this one, I wanted to keep it organic, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? Like people that I collaborate with a lot.
Often, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I felt like that was the right vibe for this project. So yeah, Mowgli, Salazar, like those are my guys, bro. You know what I'm saying? Maze Overlay, Asun Eastwood, those are all my guys. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of wanted to keep it like that.
That's dope. And everyone still with their verses, just like you, maintain the whole boat racing, even though you weren't talking directly about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, one verse that doesn't get brought up enough is Salazar's verse. Like if you really listen to, first of all, Salazar, you know what I'm saying? Like his pops is from that era. Like his pops played on the so Willie Falcone famously, there was a Seahawk softball team in
Hmm.
Miami here in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? And like it was like it's funny because it's like a rec league softball team, but Willie Falcone was throwing mad money at them, you know what I'm saying? So that was almost like major league in a funny way, you know what I mean?
Wow.
But Salazar's pops played on that team, bro. Like he played on Willie Falcone's team.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So like if you listen to the shit that Salazar is saying, like, bro, it's a crazy verse. If you really know what went down, like everything that he was saying was accurate to that era, bro. Everything. Like if you really know the story of the Los Muchachos and all that,
Hmm.
like bro, Salazar broke that shit down in a beautiful, beautiful way, bro. And that's a verse that doesn't get brought up enough for this album, bro. Killed that shit.
Damn.
But yeah, to your point, it's like everybody that went in there like stuck to the playbook as far as like the power boat racing concept and shit, man. Mowgli, Asun, Maze, everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody knew the assignment and they and fucking killed it, bro. So I was happy with the features for this one, man, for sure.
Dope. Dope. Man. Mm-mm-mm. Are all the tracks that are on here everything that was recorded and brought to you from War Season?
Yeah, the only one that Apache Warpath was a different beat. It was also called Apache Warpath. Yo, that's what's so funny about War Season, bro. He's like, yo, so because he puts the titles on the tracks and everything when he sends it to me. You know what I mean? And he's like, yo, if there's anyone that you don't like, just let me know. You know what I'm saying? And I'll swap it out for a different beat. So he had like, for instance, like for Apache Warpath, he had like four different options, and it wasn't like you couldn't plug those like if I went with like another beat, right? You couldn't plug that into like another song. He had those beats specifically for Apache Warpath for number 9 on the album. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude is crazy, man. So that was the only one where like I didn't really I wasn't feeling the original beat. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, man, what else you got for that one? And then he threw that one at me, and I was like, man, that's it right there. So that's the only like kind of like edit that I made. You know what I'm saying? Aside from that, the album was exactly as you hear it.
Wow.
It's wild, bro. I'm telling you, man. Like the
He,
way he works is
he's
crazy.
a
He's different.
visionary. Yeah. He
Yeah,
had it
he's
all
different.
planned out.
Yeah.
That's dope. Now I understand why he was on that hiatus for a few months before he got back to you.
You feel me? And like you see like all those like excerpts that he put in there and shit, like all the people talking, Donald Trump and all that shit. He sent that to like that was in the original email. It's not like he added that after I put the lyrics on it. That shit was already there,
Everything
bro.
was there. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it set the mood in a way. It made it so easy for me to write, bro, because the mood, everything was there. You know what I'm saying? It made it very easy for me to write. And it also, it like, since all that shit was already like taken care of, I think it gave me some creative license in a weird way too. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna fuck with my vocals a little more. I don't know, man. For some reason, it gave me like a freedom. You know what I'm saying? To do certain
Hmm.
shit that I hadn't done on previous albums and shit. Like you hear a lot of like chopped and screwed voices on this one with and also like the high pitched voices, and I was doing like multiple tracks, which I don't do a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like layers and shit. Yeah, I was doing a lot of shit that I wouldn't normally do, man.
It was all fitting.
Yeah.
And speaking of fitting, the whole physical package too. You got
Mm,
the show program,
mm,
the T-shirt, the vinyl, and you got the CDs and cassettes over
yeah,
at Press Collective as well.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. Like I like putting emphasis on the physicals, man. I feel like it's important. And working with guys like Press Collective and Copenhagen, you know what I'm saying? Like those guys put a premium on having dope physicals. Like the run that Press Collective just did was crazy for ECR. You know what I'm saying? There's like
Yeah,
4 different variants and shit.
crazy.
And they did and the same shit with Go Farm. Like they killed the Go Farm run that we just did last year and shit. But yeah, man, that's always like it's gotten to the point where I'm already considering the physicals as I'm making the project. I'm thinking about dope
Smart.
ideas like, yo, this would be dope. You know what I'm saying? Very important to me, man. Very important to have dope physicals. Shout out to Press Collective. Shout out to Copenhagen Craze. Shout out to Bars Over BS. Like all the labels that are doing that shit, bro, are super essential to the shit that we got going, man. And shout out to all the artists that press their own physicals too, because I'm in that category too. You know, the vinyls for Event Center Racing, we did that ourselves. And that's as Father's Day Records, right? Which is my label with my homeboy Rich. Like that's definitely something that's always been in the plans for that. Like we definitely want to press our own physicals, man. That's important to us too, man. And I encourage artists to do that. And but do it the right way, you know what I'm saying? Like make them have them look professional and shit. The same way that Bars Over BS and Press Collective and these
Yep.
companies do it. You got to match that quality at least, you know what I mean? But yeah, bro, it's important for me too to be able to press the physicals ourselves in house and have that direct channel to the consumers and to the fans, really. You know what I mean?
And the important aspect of it that keeps the customers and the fans coming back is the creativity, because that that show program, that's one key thing right there that sets it apart.
Mm.
And that's the
Yeah,
same thing you did with the Pulp nonfiction with the cigarette box over the cassette.
yeah, yeah. I'm always trying to at least try to do something different. If not for anything else, because I get bored, bro. I don't want to put out the same project over and over. You know what I'm saying? So I always try to challenge myself like to think, what can we do differently this time? So and obviously, the concept of the album already is giving you ideas on what to do. Like
Hmm.
the Pulp Fiction cigarette case is obviously is tied to the concept of that album. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Same with the show program for the boat racing shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so again, it's like, bro, I love every aspect of the rap shit, not just writing the raps.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like the marketing aspect. I love the coming up with the what the artwork is gonna be, what the videos are gonna be. I love all of that shit, bro. To me, all of that shit is dope. Trying to crack the code on how to get new fans and get more listeners and shit like that. I love that shit too. To me, that's part of the fun. All this shit, man. I don't know how I would, I don't know if I want to be like signed to a label that's with guys that are gonna handle all that shit for me. I like that shit. I want to do it
You
myself.
want to be there, get your
Yeah,
hands
man.
dirty.
I want to do that shit myself. Exactly. I like to get my hands dirty, bro. That's a great way to put it. In life, period. Like I like to jump into the deep end of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm gonna do
Yeah,
something, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna half-ass this shit, bro.
that's telling you that's the best way. But I definitely, I love the all around the concept and the creativity coming into one with not just the album, but also again the physicals, because it's what sets you apart from the other MCs. Because again, you can have the talent, but with this business, the business is greater than the music. So you gotta balance it out to keep your name out there, and at the same time still generate your revenue.
Yeah. Yeah, being a good rapper is not enough, bro. That's one thing I learned in my travels, you know what I'm saying? I've met a lot of dope rappers, bro. That's not enough. You know what I mean? There's a lot of dope rappers out there, bro. It's not enough. You gotta set yourself apart one way or another.
Deep, deep. Is there another avenue out there that you're pursuing with these writing abilities?
Bro, at the moment, no. I've done like screenplays, I've done the comic book, um, but nah, at the moment, nah, bro. I'm so into the hip hop thing. I've also like aside from that, I used to be in marketing, like I used to work in marketing.
Mhm.
So I wrote copy. I wrote a lot of like marketing copy, you know what I'm saying? I had a fucking travel blog as part of that company and shit. So I wrote articles. Like, I've done a lot of writing, bro, in a lot of different ways, but I enjoyed the rap shit, bro. Also, I'm a family man, bro. I don't got time for all that shit. And so I gotta pick one and stick with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
So
balance it
so
out.
yeah, for now it's the raps, bro. You know what I mean? That's where my heart is at.
That's ill, man. I hope those that have been watching this or watching in the future get that inspiration to seek what your abilities can, present to you. Because you're a great example of how far your writing has taken you and can continue to take you. So it's definitely dope to, witness and hear where you've come.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Yeah, man, you can't be afraid to jump in, bro. Even if you're look, I'm not as good. Well, it's hard for me to judge, right? But I'm not as good an article writer as I am a rapper, right? But I still fucking tried my hand at it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like my screenplays are pretty dope, but I'm not at the level that I am with the rap shit, in my humble opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, so bro, Jordan rode the bus too. You know what I'm saying? Jordan rode the bus and played minor league baseball, dog. So I took a lot of inspiration from that, bro. That you're talking about the guy that's the greatest of all time, bro. And this dude, challenged himself, bro. Like I think people look at Jordan's baseball stint as a negative. I don't see that at all, bro. This dude that was on top of the world, bro.
Yep.
and chose to ride the bus. You know what I'm saying? With a bunch of with some lowly fucking minor league, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. That's crazy, bro. So, bro, how if the greatest of all time could do it, then I could fucking do it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah,
could at least fucking try my hand at different shit. And
absolutely.
if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, you know? And I've gotten, I've been lucky enough that I've gotten at least some level of success with other endeavors outside of rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I never had a feature film made, but we won some film festivals and shit like that with short films. I got my screenplay was optioned and shit. It's not like I was just writing screenplays and they were just falling into the void. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
If you winning awards, and on that in that type of sector, it's definitely making a name.
yeah, it's at least some small acknowledgement
Yep.
that you're not completely horrible at this. You know what I mean? But it just didn't give me the same feeling that rap does, bro. I'll
Rap
be
does.
honest with you. It didn't give me the same feeling. It was dope, man. It was super dope to go to a film festival and sit in a theater and watch your shit on the
Watch
screen.
your
That
experience.
was
Yeah.
definitely super dope. You know what I'm saying? But nah, I don't know, man. I be having these listening sessions every time I do an album. It's kind of like a tradition that we've established here. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like we do a listening session, and I always have the merch there. I kind of plan for the listening session in the process of making the album. I gotta make sure I got the merch ready, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's always like an event. Um, but none of the screenings that I had as like a filmmaker match the energy and the feeling that I get from those listening sessions. You know what I mean? And that's
Hmm.
my barometer that tells me I'm doing the right thing, or at least I'm pursuing what I truly love to do, which is this music shit. You know,
That's dope. Dope. I'm not going to keep you much longer. I got a few more questions,
all good,
but
man.
an important question that I feel in your career is to ask. There was a time when Tev 95 moved to New York, and he told you to come up there.
Mm,
Tell us what you gained from that experience of being up here in New York.
bro, so much. You know what I mean? Like I've already told you, like my influences were mostly East Coast shit,
Hmm.
right? So going up to New York, and I remember this clearly, bro. Rocking a show for the first time. It was at Sullivan Hall. Um, that's the name of the place, right? Sullivan Hall. Um, and bro, it was like the validation that I felt from rocking that show was unlike anything I had felt before that, because I know how much history comes with New York, bro. And like
Hmm.
the real MCs were born in New York. Like the people that created the essence to this shit that I love to do are from New York, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like just got to keep it a buck, bro. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? So yeah, there was a certain like validation that I got um from rocking out there, bro, and the vibe. Like it's an inspiring place, bro. Honestly, you know what I mean? It's inspiring, so it was easy going to the studio and creating and rocking shows out there. It was cool, man. It was a super dope experience, and I'm always gonna feel connected to New York anyway, because I'm Dominican, because I was the first place where I lived, and because obviously I got a lot of family and friends over there too. So I'm always kind of like connected to New York. Um, I think it's kind of corny when like you meet some Miami guys sometimes, and it's like, bro, you've been here since the third grade and you still got a New York accent. Like it's like, yeah, come on, bro. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing, bro? So I never like rep New York because I feel like that would be fake of me. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of like Miami dudes that it's like, bro, I remember you from elementary school, champ. What do you mean you're repping Queens, bro? Nah, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, bro, you're from Kendall, homie. So I always thought that was corny when when people did that kind of shit, bro. So, but with that being said, like New York was always that place that I felt like bro, I really felt like home when I moved out there with you know what I'm saying, when Tev told me I should move out there. I was there for a few years, and very rarely felt out of place out there, bro. You know what I'm saying? I really did feel at home in New York, man. I do have a certain connection to New York for sure, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's I don't know if it's spiritual. Like my pops died there, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Like my
Yeah,
pops died in New York, bro. There's a piece of me literally
still,
in New
yeah.
York. You get
Hmm.
what I'm saying? So yeah, man. I'm always gonna feel connected to New York, bro. And I'm always gonna appreciate New York for birthing this art form that I love to do, bro.
That's man, it's amazing to be able to gain that experience and then be validated at the same time.
Yeah, for sure, bro. It hit different. It hit different, bro. I explained it to like some of my friends here in Miami that are not familiar, right? And it's like, here in Miami, we got a pretty dope hip hop scene, bro, and it's a lot bigger than some people would expect and shit. There's a lot of motherfuckers that are into this rap shit,
Hmm.
right? But New York has generations of rappers. That's what people don't like. I was in New York building with like the children and grandchildren of of people that grew up in this hip hop shit, bro. It's different. You know what I'm saying? And also in New York, bro, you'll meet a dude that's one of the best rappers you ever heard, and that dude has no interest in pursuing rap as a
Right.
you know
Hmm.
what I mean? There's so many of those, bro. There's so many motherfuckers that are dead nice. You know what I'm saying? And have no interest in being a rapper, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's different, man. New York is really hip hop really is in the DNA out there. And Miami, I think we'll get there at some point, but we don't have the history that you
Hmm.
guys got. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope. 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 Now, I know you got some upcoming work. One of them with my good peoples repping Toronto and Belize, Ace on Eastwood.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
His pen game's amazing, and you know the way he emits growth and maturity, and at the same time will annihilate you on a
Yeah.
track
Yeah.
is something to be heard.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. He's one of my favorites, bro. So it's from the first time we linked, I'm like, man, this dude, because there's something we rap different, right? But I think we approach it in the same way, in the sense that it's all rooted around real life. And yeah, we throw some ego shit in there, but Ace always it's always rooted in real life. Like that's the core of the shit that he does, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then he's super nice with the pen, and he's
Yep.
got like the flavor. That's
Hmm.
the thing. Like he's not one of these like monotone, like like Ace got like sauce, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
man,
It is.
yeah, he's one of my favorites, bro, for sure. For
Indeed.
sure.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So how's
Mature
that?
too. That's a good way to put it. Like he puts a lot of maturity in his music.
Hmm.
And I feel like this incarnation of what I do, that's like, one of my hallmarks, I think. You know what I'm saying? Like I try to like rap from a perspective of a dude that's done a lot of shit and has some perspective and shit to share, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like he approaches it the same way. So
Same way. Yep. That's why.
so it's only right that we do a project together, you know what
Exactly.
I'm
When
saying? Yeah.
I found out about that, I'm like, wow, this is gonna work. The synergy is there.
Yeah, and bro, he's super cool, and we've kicked it in real life, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, man, we get along really well in real life, and yeah, man, I'm excited for that one. Hopefully this year, bro. I think this year
Oh,
that might be it.
oh,
Yeah,
that's dope. Yeah, I
yeah,
finally got to meet him in person as well when he came to New York a few years back. That was a great
yeah,
experience.
yeah. Great dude, man. Like, shout out to all those Toronto guys. Are super fucking
Indeed.
cool, man. Like, yo, they really like welcomed me and Tev out there when we went out there, bro. It was a beautiful thing, man. So shout out to all those guys for sure.
Yep. Indeed, indeed. And one other upcoming project I found out about is with a fellow producer from the whole Luprava gang and also repping Florida, South
Yeah.
Beach to be exact, Mighty Healthy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's probably next on the docket.
Oh
That's probably
man,
next. Cause me and him, like he's the one that kind of put the good word in with Lupara, him and Pharma, you know what I'm saying? They're the ones that kind of like floated my name and shit. So yeah, Mighty's a dude that I know from here from Miami, you know. So yeah, it was only right. It was only right. On the pulp nonfiction on the Lupara joint that I did, he had the most joints out of all the producers. And so it was only right. You know what I'm saying? And the shit that we got cooking is bro, it's
oh,
crazy. I just got a feature. Like I just collabed with an artist. I don't even want to say who it is yet, but yeah, man. Yeah. When people hear it, they'll know. You know what I mean? For sure.
dope, dope.
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, I don't even want to ask you what else you got coming after, those two projects you got upcoming. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah. Some
enough
other
hype
shit.
right there.
And bro, hopefully me and Saint,
Oh,
lock in. Hopefully we lock in this year. I would love to do that. And I got something else cooking with Machacha too. That's another one. You know what I'm saying? Like I got another little thing cooking with Machacha that's gonna be dope too, man. Yeah, good things to come, bro. I'm excited.
dope, dope. So, about how many tracks did y'all record for Full Metal Cooper?
It's nothing crazy. I think we got like four.
Okay.
Then we got like four, yeah, and then like he got busy, I got busy and shit. Machacha is super busy, you know. You know what I'm saying? But no, actually, Machacha's done his part because he sent the beats, so it's really up to me and Desaint to really lock in. And we've talked about maybe what's holding it up is we've talked about linking up in person and doing it in person.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? And then obviously with him in the Orlando area and me here, like it's a little difficult, but we're gonna lock in. I promise you that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna lock in for sure.
dope, dope. Yeah, I'm still rocking the Count the Bodies Part 2 that he dropped last year.
That's another bro. That's another one, man. Like
Crazy.
he's one of my favorites too, bro. You know, he's one of my favorites too. I've been fortunate to work with dudes that I'm a fan of too. You know what I'm saying? I've been really fortunate, bro. Like bro, I've worked with some
That's great to
super,
say, man.
super duper MCs, bro. Like I mentioned Nino Bless earlier. That's another dude
Hmm.
that's like looked out
Amazing.
for me a lot. Yeah, bro. One of the
Yep.
best. Like that guy's one of the best. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up, bro. That's no gassing or nothing. That dude's one of the best, bro. So man, you know, I've gotten to work with some pretty dope rappers, bro. Graph. Like, come
Yep.
on, bro. It's fucking Graph, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I've worked with him twice. I worked with Crime Apple too. Like,
Another dope one. Mm.
yeah. A homie just put me on a song with ST Knack. I don't consider that working with him because we didn't, it was
Together,
like
kind of
the
thing.
producer put that together. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Which is cool too. Um, but yeah, man, I've been lucky in that sense. You know what I mean? I've been able to work with some really dope rappers and these guys respect my pen too, which is dope, man. You know what I mean? Like these guys respect what I do. And I feel like me and my homeboy were talking about this the other day. Like, bro, these dudes be coming with it on these features too, man. It's like, yo, my boy was like, yo, man, they're coming for your head, bro. They're coming for your neck, homie. You know what I'm saying? And bro, that's the best compliment you
That's
could give
great.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best compliment you could give me, man. Like nobody slacks on these features. I ain't had one person like come with a half-ass verse yet, bro. So it's a blessing, bro.
That's dope. That's dope, man. Event Center Racing is out now. Vinyl, CD, cassette. Go over to Press Collective, or you can go directly to Shottie through Father's Day Records and cop the vinyl.
These are
Appreciate you
facts.
taking the time, man.
These are facts. These are facts. Nah, I appreciate you, homie. For real, man. This was dope, and you definitely dug deep for some of these for some of these questions, bro. So I'm like, damn, how you know about that?
That's what
That's
I
what's
do,
up.
man.
Yeah, nah, salute, man, salute.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate the time that it takes to do this kind of thing, bro. I had a podcast for a little while too, and it's
The,
work, bro.
the
People
hip
think
hop
we're just
sushi,
talking
right?
in front of a camera. Yeah, I had a
Yeah, it's not
podcast.
easy.
Yeah, bro, it's not. It's not. It's not, man. So, man, shout out to you, man. I'm super, super
Indeed.
grateful for sure.
And for those tuning in, soon Money Mowgli will be on here as well. I've been talking to him as
Hey,
well.
I love it. I love it, bro. Money Mowgli, my favorite Miami rapper. I always say him and Salazar, my favorite Miami rappers, and just one of my favorite rappers in general. Yeah, man.
Indeed. Putting in
Yeah,
that
I'm
work.
excited to watch that one for sure.
I'm excited to speak with him because I'm listening through you is, how I discovered more and more of his music as well.
Dope, dope.
If you got any shout outs, floor is yours.
Bro, shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the platforms, everybody that's bro, look, shout out to every one of y'all that fuck with this with my music, man. You know what I'm saying? Like this is honestly like it's why we do it. You know what I mean? And in this kind of game where there's not a lot of financial incentive for this shit, we really do this shit for the love, you know what I'm saying? And so the love becomes the currency. So anybody that's showed me love, you know what I'm saying? Like thank you, you know what I mean? And keep showing love because I'm gonna keep reciprocating in return, you know what I mean?
There it is. There it is. Again, you can check out pretty much your entire catalog on your Bandcamp, right?
Yes,
I know
sir.
you got someone on Spotify, but you want to go to your Bandcamp. That's where it's at.
100%. That's where it's at, you know. And if you wanna cop the albums and shit, they're there. You know what I mean? If you want to just listen, it's there too.
There it is. And also, once again, the Press Collective has other physicals as well. If you don't catch them on Shottie's Bandcamp. So once again, appreciate you taking the time, Shottie. Event Center Racing, dope album. Definitely go support it, listen to it, absorb the concept that was visualized by Shottie and War Season, and then definitely go check through the rest of the catalog like I used.
Yes, sir. Shotty 305 on all the social medias and shit. Hit me up on there.
There it is. On behalf of our HHDG Media crew, we're going to say peace.